So, as you all prepare to leave, do you have any thoughts on what you would like to do, or are you all just going off that map that you are basically setting off to the southwest and into the jungle?
I think we want to ask for directions if anybody knows how to get where we're going. Maybe there's a trail.
Well, I think Aku probably knows how to get to Mbala.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you mean to ask, is there a road? No, there is not. We must find our way through the jungle, and then we will see the plateau when we get there. Or we can follow the river, and when we meet the Aldani Basin, we will also see the plateau.
Remember the difference was 30 miles north through the swampy land or 40 miles west through the just straight through the jungle. Do we have a preference? I don't like swamps.
Yeah, I think it might be beneficial to get away from the river. May not be any safer, just different types of opponents. No more alligators or crocodiles, I guess.
Yeah, I would prefer not to face any more alligators.
It would probably be a bit, hopefully a bit quicker, more direct. We try to make our way straight through the jungle.
Just probably more dinosaur.
All right, so we'll just Mackie, let's head straight west through the jungle.
So if Jarek Island and Brandir, if you guys can decide, two of you would like to lead the party. I'll have two of you do a roll here. Otherwise, you can all just basically as a group, the three of you can roll, but it'll average.
Well, my survival is, a thing that I feel good about, so I'm all right with helping to lead. Anybody else?
I got the whatever the nature thing gives me, so I'm willing to lead the way.
And Jarek's more familiar with kind of he's better on the water than through the jungle, so he'll let the two of them take charge at this point.
Gotcha. So Island and Brandir, let me get a survival check from you.
I have to have roll 20 open. Sorry, I'm slow.
So you all can push off into the wilderness, and as you basically leave vengeance behind, the depths of the jungle quickly kind of grow back around you, and you feel that kind of pressure as things seem to be closer behind every corner. And it's not long before, Brandir, you are going to spot that there was a thoroughly large creature who was walking this area hours ago. And you guys are following in its footsteps right now.
Certainly, we're following, or do we know which direction the footsteps are going?
Yeah, like it's got toes, so you can see that it must have walked up to Vengeance, and it is leaving Vengeance, and it is going southwest.
Okay, well, as long as it's convenient, let's follow in its wake.
If it's big, perhaps it will scare off some of the other creatures ahead of it, essentially draft in its wake.
So you continue to follow. A lot of the underbrush itself is much easier to move through. You get a pretty good idea that you're going in the right direction and that this creature seems to be wandering off to the southwest. Uh, More and more, you're going to see that it weighs quite a few tons. It seems to have a pretty large gait. And after a little bit, you feel like it might not actually be two-legged and maybe there's four legs, and it's relatively regular in that it steps into its own footprints. But you do start to pick up a few signs of where it's just a little bit shy of the next footprint. And seems to drag a tail behind that has quite some mass to it as well. But a
So
few.
while they're, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, 100%. You guys, I want you guys to talk as much as you are ready to talk.
So like kind of while they're traveling, and Jarek's like he wants to kind of keep an eye on some of the foliage. As they after they kind of had that near encounter with the plant eating dinosaurs back near the temple, he wants to he's going to keep an eye out for any signs of like foliage being stripped from trees or anything that shows signs of this creature maybe like eating. Um, so you kind of trying to see if maybe there's any sign that it might be like herbivorous or at least like omnivorous.
You want to make sure this thing doesn't want to eat us, Jarek?
Well, like, if it's if there's a bunch of like stripped trees and stuff in its wake, then maybe it's like plant eating, and just trying to see if we can learn anything about this thing that we're following.
Yeah.
Roll an animal handling.
Jarek
I
makes a
think as you're looking for signs, you're going to see that there's not too much that's kind of jumping out at you that gives you anything to interpret.
Jarek makes a poor amateur paleontologist.
It's more that like the size of this thing's destruction in its wake is kind of a little daunting. And again, you guys are very much aware from Brandier's skills here that you're following a massive beast. This is not a small animal. It is gigantic.
And we can't see it yet, right? We're looking as we're walking, but it's far enough ahead of us that it's still out of sight.
Yeah, this is
You
hours
want to
ago.
find that thing?
Hours ago. Okay. And no sound too, right?
Roll a perception. As you're listening off, at present, jungle seems to be making jungle noises. Animals seem to be calling out. It seems to be a normal morning in the jungle. And at very least, if there were a large predator nearby, you would expect that eerie silence or the alarm calls of different beasts. And neither is there. It's a pretty normal jungle morning right now.
Now, from uh, the perspective of someone who's been out here for a while and wanting to step into Bill's shoes for a moment, does that also pretend that probably the undead are away, or is there any correlation with that?
Well, what are you going on that would give Bill a semblance of knowledge here?
The undead attacking Camp Vengeance for however long it's been that he'd been there.
I mean, that's the undead attacking Camp Vengeance or Camp Righteousness or like an actual camp.
But
You guys are wandering around in the jungle.
well, just at the sounds of the forest around us, did it change, or did we even make note of it?
Roll a religion check.
I will roll a die 20.
Yeah. And what is it? Yeah, he's got athletics and intimidation. When he tries to think about this, he's not really coming up with much. In general, you all should understand there is a certain semblance of a lot of the undead don't move. And when you don't move, the jungle comes back to life. You guys could be standing on top of undead right now, and the next step you are going to get ambushed by thousands of zombies, and the jungle could be making plenty of noise. If those zombies are wandering around like a horde, you might find that the jungle is silent. The jungle is not a good way to interpret whether undead is nearby, because they don't need to feed. If they're just standing in position, things will get used to them. So, assuming you all are taking some time to try to figure out whether you think it's safe to continue to follow this thing, I feel like that's what all these checks are making me see from how you're thinking about this. What would you all like to do?
Oh, I'm going to keep following this thing. How about you guys?
That's my feeling, is that we should just keep heading down this direction.
The less nights we have to spend in the jungle overnight, the better.
Yeah, well, this thing's like a road grader for us, and actually making a highway through the jungle.
Yeah, it's very much cutting down and tramping down brush. You guys are getting about like a 5-6 meter wide walkway. It's almost like 10 feet wide.
Yeah, we just want to keep an eye out in front of us and not, walk up its tail when we catch up with it.
So when
That
you are
makes
ready,
sense.
let me get Brandier and Island to do another survival. So you all continue to wander in that same general direction, following these tracks. You see signs where it seems to kind of wander off in a odd direction as if it goes eastward for a little bit, and then it's kind of moving along in a similar southward angle. There's not too much to tell you exactly why this creature's moving as it is. The marks still seem to be old, still giving you some signs that it's a few hours ahead of you still. But other than the idea that it seems to be moving to the east, at least at an initial stage here, what kind of thoughts do you all have?
Jack, what are you thinking?
I mean, I think we following the creature's tracks is fine as long as it doesn't lead us off kind of our path. Like we don't want to get sidetracked. But it's curious why it would be kind of going off in different directions at different times. But um, at this point, Jarek's deferring to Island and Brandier as uh, kind of the party's guide leaders here.
I would think that we just, as long as we know we're not even going in the same direction as, as long as we're making progress towards our destination, we continue to follow it. If it kind of takes us off in a more than a 90-degree angle away from our general destination, then we need to abandon it.
Yeah, so you all are probably a ways away from Camp Vengeance, and it does seem to be turning off of your straight path in the general direction you expect to be going.
I just wonder if it's avoiding something we also want to avoid. But hard to say. You guys want to just keep going straight?
That one would have to be on a boat, party boat, I think. I'd say let's continue following it, but I'll go with whatever the majority says.
I guess we know where it went. There's probably not a lot of it's been disturbed, right, and driven things off. So sticking with it for a little bit's okay. So we're trying to go southwest, and I think what you said, Mara, was going east now?
Yeah, it turned east. So realistically, that first line was better than the second.
It's really not going
something like that.
Yeah, it's really not going the right direction
Okay.
anymore at all.
Okay, yeah. When it loops back that direction, I don't think it provides us any more of an advantage. Maybe we would get lucky and find another one that's heading down that direction.
So who's for breaking through the jungle? Chris, Jarek?
Yeah, I'm still for going kind of keeping on our main path.
Yeah, so am I.
Not path, but direction.
All right, so sounds like we're 3 out of 4 for heading directly to Mbala.
Just count this as a lucky turn that we got this far relatively easy.
So you all can leave its trail behind as you start to push off into the underbrush yourselves. It takes a little bit longer to blaze a trail between the two of you, but you all are able to keep a pretty solid lead ahead of you. You keep the group pretty well spread out, so you have a good semblance of being able to look behind you and make sure you're holding in the same direction almost using each other as like a line of string that makes sure that you're continuing along the same path in that same general southwest direction that you need. And when you all are all ready, let me get another survival from Ivan and Brandier. In a weird sort of prophetic moment, Bill is going to notice an eerie silence coming through the jungle. And you all continue to move on. And it feels worrisome. And there's a certain semblance of something feels wrong. But the group moves on. Nothing seems to happen at first. Everybody's a little bit more ready and a little bit higher tension. And eventually, you all are going to come through a little clearing, somewhat kind of similar to how this beast was opening up a passageway through a lot of the greenery. You can see some signs of where the jungle was like matted down by a massive creature, and you can see that the greenery is already starting to like stand back up and almost heal itself over that time that would pass. And that's where the tension is going to be kind of at its highest. You all have felt this for a while. You've had the warnings from Bill for a while. Jungle's not quiet anymore, but there's something about crossing this area of open ground that makes everybody uncomfortable. What are you all doing here?
Do I get a sense that this ground is what I expect it to look like, or based on what I know about this,
What
which
do
is
you mean?
very little, admittedly. I mean, a creature like this had walked through here, and and formed a clearing. But does it look the same as what we had just traversed?
Like, does it look like the same creature?
Yeah.
You can roll an inspection or investigation. What's everybody else doing as he's trying to look into this?
Edging backwards towards the jungle away from the clearing. I wondered if we were headed, if the animal we were following was avoiding something. Maybe this is it, this clearing.
Tavern would be sticking close to Brander, but with like his hand on the hilt of his short sword, just warily keeping a lookout for anything he doesn't know what.
Yeah, Jarek's thoughts are kind of like, as he gets this weird eerie feeling, are kind of flashing back to the clearing where they attempted to bring their previous companion to rest and ended up getting attacked. And so he's probably got his hand on one of his hands on a weapon, and he's kind of backing away. And he agrees with the idea that maybe there's something about this place that like the creature they had been tracking like is instinctively avoiding. He's uh he's hesitant to press on into it directly, suggesting maybe they kind of backtrack a bit and maybe try to get around it, or
and nobody. So Island and Jarek are stepping back into the jungle. Brandir is moving forward to try to get a closer look, and Taryn is staying close to him.
Yeah, even if there's like an eerie feeling, he doesn't want to leave anyone alone there.
Is that a proper interpretation from everybody's point of view?
I think
So I didn't realize Brander was moving forward, so that Jarek would probably wouldn't follow in, but he would kind of hold his ground. He wouldn't retreat back into the jungle. He kind of hold his ground at like the edge of the clearing, I guess.
The island would say to Brandier, "It's creepy. What are you doing? You going in there?"
So as you move forward and into this area, you're going to look around. This clearing is a different sort of thing. It has its similarities to the other one in that something massive might have created this. Does it seem to be the same creature? No, not necessarily. This could just as easily be something else that levels trees and kind of brings down a lot of the greenery. But you're seeing signs that the jungle's coming back. But other than the eerie feeling, it looks like you can continue on your way.
okay. Let's decide. Shall we go across the clearing or try to circumnavigate it?
Yeah, I like edging around the outside.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be an island on this, because if even the creatures of the jungle is avoiding this place, I don't really feel comfortable walking completely out into it.
And perhaps our nerves are simply playing tricks with us.
Yeah, well, it looks like a big predator would make easy work of us in a clearing like this. So let's stick to the cover.
So how big around do we think this clearing is?
You can measure. What, like 80 by 80?
Yeah, so I think we can work our way around the outside.
Yeah, walk the perimeter.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And I thought I heard something growl on the soundtrack. So
So you all can take your movement and move yourselves where you want to go.
And maybe we kind of stick to the edge of the clearing, not back away all the way into the forest, but
Yes, so you can do another round.
That's the third round.
Note to self: put automatic death on the edge of battle maps.
Huh.
I just keep on hearing this thing growling.
It's just a soundtrack.
I know. It just makes me nervous.
I mean, if you guys want to be nervous, I can give you the thing that you were following to fight.
Yeah, I didn't realize we'd be tiptoeing around the battle map. Avoiding stuff, I was just sort of role playing the like, what would we do? Creepy. Clearing in the jungle. I'll be careful. Like most of the things that we run into in the jungle are hard to kill.
Yeah, and you guys followed it. So as you all step back into the thick of the jungle, you can give me another round of survivals from Island and Brandy.
Okay.
Does anyone feel bad about avoiding that confrontation?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. Like Jarek is saying, like maybe our nerves are just getting the best of it, and there's nothing. But seemed like the party idea was to circle around it. So
On some level, you guys gotta be adventurers still. So
Well,
you
if this
don't
isn't
go
our
out. You don't go out and run around as an adventurer because you are trying to avoid stuff. You go out and run around as an adventurer because you are a fucking hero.
yeah, but the contents of that clearing wasn't part of our goal, so I don't feel bad about avoiding it.
So back on trail, pushing forward, you all continue to move along. Everything seems to be going well, and you all can do another round of survivals.
Is it like afternoon now, roughly?
That's about 5 hours, so you guys are looking at roughly around when you can see sun, about high sun.
Copy that.
We can push on through the entirety of daylight, or stop after we've done about 8 hours.
Yeah, I just want to get there. Mbala's the goal.
Okay.
So more hours are better in my book. What about the rest of you?
Sounds fine to me.
So if y'all are ready for another one, you can push forward. You are breaking good ground through the jungle, going a little bit slower uh, with having to clear brush, but otherwise things are going well. So you're gonna get a pretty solid sight from kind of a bit of high ground, still within the forest, but like through a little bit of a clearing, you're going to see that you're starting to approach some pretty heavy kind of downhill gradient. And being able to see over the canopy, you are going to see the first sight of the Aldani Basin that extends off to the south, yeah, pretty much properly south of you, maybe a little bit east. But kind of looking off into that direction, you see that much of the basin is currently being rained on. But other than that, you are going to see the plateau of Mbala standing high above the basin all around it. And you probably have maybe 5 more miles of jungle before you're going to come out and be on the open land between the jungle and the plateau. When you all are prepared, you can do another round of survivals here. Everything's going pretty well going downhill. There's certain sections where people are starting to lose footing and you slide for a little bit. There's still plenty of kind of undergrowth that everybody's able to kind of grab roots and whatnot as you're moving forward, but the move forward becomes a little bit more difficult on what is effectively a steeper gradient of still very muddy jungle. But you all are making good progress forward, expecting shortly here to kind of get free of the jungle and have a open view at very least of Mbala. Another round of survivals. So as you all come out of the jungle, everybody is going to have a very clear view of Mbala above you and in front of you. It stands high above this area and well above everything that you would have kind of expected, as it is just a singular plateau rising up out of nowhere. And all before you, it just seems like swampland all around. So, inside of Discord, that's a look of kind of what you can expect from like the Aldani Basin, between like you and Mbala. And then the actual basin well to the south of you, you can see is just a massive lake that kind of grows up in this area. And then Mbala itself is a plateau, very similar to some of these, where it's you may actually get wisdoms from you all. Just a group wisdom check. So, kind of looking it over, Taryn and Island take a few moments to kind of debate. Pretty sure it's about 1,500 feet, and it looks like 1,800 to me. And Jarek and Brandy are over there, like, yeah, it looks like 600, guys. I don't know what's wrong with you. But you guys are looking at about like a quarter of a mile above the Aldani Basin as you look off at Mbala, and it is still way off in the distance, but you can start to cross this kind of swampland, and we will continue with another few survival checks from Island and Brandier.
Alan wants to like update his map, with one of our progress.
You want to stop everybody and have some lunch? You need downtime to actually like draw.
Okay. Well, so next time we stop for a meal, I'll do it. Noted.
Okay. Does anybody have an idea of where we want to ascend this plateau, or is any place as good as another? I want to kind of pick one of these areas where it appears that the slope goes all the way to the top instead of stopping at a cliff.
Perhaps now that we're closer, Aku can tell us a bit more about what she needs done here.
That's awesome. I've wanted to know that for months.
Unless you are skilled climbers, there is but one entrance for all people. We will have to go to the southern side of the plateau, and there is a long switchback by which we can climb to the village. I have people that I need to check on, and hope to find them well.
Well, I'm no mountaineer, so sounds like the southern approach is what we'll need to take.
So this is a little bit
Okay.
more properly what you are seeing from Mbala, and it is just straight cliff faces all around. And in particular, they have their switchbacks carved into the mountain on the southern side, which is also where the village is.
All right. So let's head there.
Did we have any notion as to the best path through the swampland, or to just try to make progress in one direction until we're stopped?
That's what your survivals are for, is your ability to route a path through and try not to walk into fog that is just going to suck you in and effectively exhaust you as it slowly kills you.
Okay. And we'll continue with the current plan because I don't see one better.
So you all can spend the next few hours making your way through, finding a pretty solid path. Here and there, you're having to kind of backtrack yourselves. Um, Over time, it's quickly showing yourselves that give plenty of space. Try to follow the exact places where Island is stepping, and make sure that you never follow too close, but to keep that memory and make sure, because quite often it's almost just a few inches between falling neck deep into water from stepping down on grass that seems to give you solid land below. But over the next few hours, you will cross a good portion of this swampland, and let's do one more survival check. With a little bit of effort to make your way more and more south, It takes a little bit more time to spot those paths, but you all are able to continue to work well together, finding paths where one loses the path and giving way to them kind of leading for a while until it seems that there's trouble and switching. And uh, eventually, you all are going to set foot on firm ground where you get that actual feeling that there's stone below you. You're no longer on mud. You're no longer in jungle. You're standing on actual bedrock, and it feels good. And you all have. I feel like I oriented this map the wrong way, so let me flip this real quick. I could not find a map of Mbala that didn't have the entrance on the south side, which seemed a little frustrating. So I think you guys are going to start here on the southeast corner. And it is currently black, but I will reveal.
Jarek's gonna congratulate Island and Brandier for successfully navigating them through the bog and here to the plateau.
Island's pretty psyched about that, actually. Excited to meet your people, FQ.
My people, these are people I care for.
So you're responsible for them?
I care for many and bear no responsibility.
Well, thanks for getting us here safely.
You all are basically at the jungle floor and have a cliff face that is. Oh man, I meant to do a conversion for this. I feel like it's like a kilometer, Chris. Because I feel like it's a quarter of a mile. I'm pretty sure 2.2 kilometers is a mile. So it's actually like 0.8 kilometers high. I think that's probably pretty close distance wise to give you a sense of like you're just like looking up this vertical cliff face. And you guys can see from this point slight signs of the carvings into it. But you can basically see from a ways off that there is just like a little bit of kind of a cleft into this cliff face and just back and forth as it climbs up this distance. It's not like an incredibly steep gradient, but there is a pretty incredible gradient as far as how far you will walk to get to the top. At times, it's probably at its thinnest 5 feet wide at times. At times, there is foliage and things that you will need to clear, but in general, you guys have this ahead of you, and you can start to climb, making your way up to the face or the top of Mbala.
Okay, I lost track of Brand's.
Everybody is in the southeast corner right now.
Okay. Well, I see the three.
Yep.
Oh, you can
drag
drag
yourself by
your
your name.
Oh, your character is like in the black?
I don't see him inside of the. I don't think you've dropped him.
Okay, how do I do that?
Just click on where it says Brandier, and then just hold that, and then let go of the click once you are in like that southern portion.
And I have to click on the name, not on the token, to get that to work on my setup.
That doesn't work.
Like you're clicking inside of characters where it says Brandier, like Jarek is right above you, and you're clicking the name Brandier. Not on D&D Beyond, but like in Roll20.
Yeah, I'm clicking on Roll20, trying to drag the name over there, and it's not doing anything.
If you take that token that I just dropped, can you move that?
I can, but I just can't create it for some reason.
I don't think there's any valid reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. You might be trying to drag from the token, but in the long run, that is fine for now. You guys can progress forward up the cliff face here.
It looks like we have to head west first, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like a kind of like a switchback, so it's like west, then back east, then.
You feeling like leading the party now, Jack? That we're out of the swamps?
Well, with solid ground beneath my feet, I feel a little better. We know where we need
Yeah,
to go
just
now.
remember your legs are longer than ours.
It's certainly no city, but maybe there'll be one up there at the top.
Should all this all still be black, or is it supposed? Is it
I'm
like
just
dynamic?
not there yet.
Oh, no worries. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you guys are getting the encounter that you skipped. So, as you walk around and make your way up the switchback, you see as the trail doubles back in the next direction, and you have another distance ahead of you and can start to climb up. Feel like what it's probably like already about I feel like there's no way that this can be to scale and call it to scale, but it's probably like about 20 feet up each switchback. And it's probably like 50, I feel like, with each switchback.
It's getting tight.
So as you all start to get to the corner of the switchback, I need you to roll initiative. All right, Taryn, as you watch Jarek walk up towards the corner and through the switchback, you're going to see behind his feet as a hand starts to reach out of the ground, and you will have the first action in combat as you see a humanoid kind of rising right behind Jarek, trying to reach out at him.
Okay, well, I'll call out for Yak, like, watch out behind you, and I'll run up. Guess I'll draw my short sword and try to stab it.
Just plinking right off of the side of its bones. Your short sword just kind of glances off of it, seemingly having no effect. And after that, it will go to Brandir.
Okay, I'm going to pull out a throwing dagger. Move closer. At about a half a move is what I can do and still throw, or
No, your movement is separate. You can do your full movement inside of your turn.
okay. Okay, move to there and throw a dagger.
So as you wind up and go to throw the dagger, it is standing out of the ground, and you place the dagger just right behind it as it's standing, and it seems unaffected as the dagger just plinks off. Roll a d4 for me. Odd, that dagger is gone. Or at least down the cliff face. That dagger's gone. From further up the hill, an arrow is going to fly out at Terran, and it will hit. And Terran, you are going to take 6 piercing damage as you feel from behind you an arrow just stab right through one of your shoulder blades, and it's going to go to Island.
Can we see where that arrow came from? No, yep.
Terran and Jarek can.
Okay. He's going to cast, Island's going to cast Sacred Flame, which is a 13 dexterity saving.
On who?
On
If you're
the,
casting it, just click it to roll the damage too. But which one are you casting it on?
the one nearest me.
East. It seems to move to the side as it is reaching out for Jarek.
Okay. I'm going to move. I'm going to run up the ramp.
As you run up the ramp, a creature is going to reach out for you from below. 18 to hit. I feel like that's a solid strike. Yeah. So it is going to grasp into you, and you're going to feel as its nails and bones grind into your flesh. You're going to take 4 damage as you run past the creature.
Okay.
And then it is on Jarek.
Okay, so Jarek, hearing Terrence shout a warning, is going to turn and pivot and see this kind of hand reaching up at him from below. And then as he sees the other ones, he's going to kind of shout a warning, like even as Island's running up the cliff, like more to the to the west, so kind of like trying to point him out, and then he'll almost like pointing with his scimitar and then bringing it down in a slash at this creature below him, reaching out for him.
Solid strike into it.
I'm just going to move here and hold my ground there.
You are going to see as another of these creatures from further up is going to start to crawl out of the ground, and it is going to loose an arrow downrange at. Here's the one person not in view, so it's going to go for Island. And it should hit with a 19, and it's going to do 4 more piercing damage to Island.
Got it.
And then the one coming out of the ground at Jarek is going to slash out at him. It should hit with a 19, wrong die, and it's going to do 4 slashing damage. No, piercing, but it doesn't really matter. 4 damage to you there. So, Taryn, you've seen as this one creature starts to reach out at your party, and you watch as Island runs over another one. There is a semblance in your initial thoughts here, recognizing these things, that they're arising because life is present and nearby. What would you like to do, Taryn?
I would like to pull out my dagger too. I'm two-handing or dual wielding, and then slash at the one next to me. Yeah, with my short sword and dagger. So
Gotcha. Yeah, so that first is just going to miss as you're a little bit wide and the creature's able to step out of the way. And the second slash at it, you're just going to kind of stab through some ragged leather and still seemingly have no effect on the creature. And you can take any movement if you would like. Otherwise, we'll go to Brandy.
yeah, no, I'm staying put at the moment.
Okay. I can't see this thing moving around above me.
No, right now you only have view on the one that Taryn and Jarek are fighting.
Okay. Well, I'll get out my hammers and close an attack.
So right now you can pull one hammer and
Okay.
attack with it.
All right.
So if you're going to go for both of your hammers in the long run for this fight, I would say pull one of those hand hammers and just make the one attack right now. And then next turn you can pull the other one and have the bonus attack.
Okay.
So solid strikeout. And as you smash into this creature, it is going to crumble into the ground. Any more movement from you?
Can I move past my friends and on up the hill, or?
Yeah, you can move to the left of Terran without. Oh, wait, Terran, aren't you a small creature?
Yeah, I'm a small creature.
Yeah, you can move to the left of Terran or just right over Terran with no effort. Nothing like different changes. You just can't stop on top of somebody.
Okay.
The one right on Island is going to. Let's see.
How far can I move?
Your movement. I didn't pay attention to it, so it's up to you. I feel like you were south of the skeleton that is to the west of you, so you've moved 1, 2, 3. So you probably have 10 more feet.
Okay. Move up to the cliff edge there.
So the one in front or to the west of Island is Going to take a shot at Brandir as he runs up the cliff. It should hit with a 19, and it's going to do 4 piercing damage to him. And we'll be on island.
Alan's gonna pull one dagger. He's going to try Sacred Flame again on the one that's right on top of him to his west.
Going to burn. Roll the damage. It's going to burn a very little bit.
Yeah. And I think my movement's just going to be to get around to the other side of this guy. That's it.
Turning down range towards Jarek, this creature is going to pull an arrow into its bow and take a shot out at you. That will hit. And it's going to do 8 piercing damage. My bad. And then it's on Jarek.
All right, so Jarek's going to, kind of grunting as the arrow hits into him, charging up the switchback, drawing his short sword as he goes. He's going to flash out with the scimitar and then stab at it with the short sword.
Go scimitar first here. Oh, yep, that's going to miss. Short sword will hit. Yeah, that creature is going to be severely wounded as you slash across it with your sword. I guess actually as you like stab through it, you can see that you almost like dislodged entire portions of its rib cage as you like connected with one of the vertebra. That creature's like almost falling apart. The magic is barely holding it together.
And Jarek's gonna shout like, stay close. And that's it for him.
Another arrow from downrange is going to fly out at Jarek. Is a 16 hit.
Yep, I'm AC
Yes.
15.
Wrong die again. And this one's going to be 7 piercing damage as it flies over Island's head, over the bit of melee and the other skeletons, and it's going to sink into you, and it will be on Terran.
Oh, Terrence is gonna move up like that, and then try to stab slice at the skeleton in his back.
First is going to be a miss, and with the second one, you are going to stab into it, and that skeleton will crumble. And you can take any more movement, and then it will go to Brandir.
Okay, I'll move up and attack. Okay. Do I bring the second hammer into action this time around?
Yep, you can use your free action to pull that second one.
Okay.
Your first shot out is going to miss as the creature is, what was that one? Pulling an arrow before. I feel like it just kind of dodges to the side. It's able to move away from the hammer. Second one is a solid strike.
Okay.
And you can see signs of its bones kind of starting to chip away and fall from its body. Can you make sure that your Beyond 20 has those two things set? I just posted the picture in Discord there, just to make sure that it has auto roll damage set. This one is going to reach out with its offhand and try to plunge its hand into Island, and it should hit with a d20, and it's trying to tear his heart out. It's going to do 5 piercing damage as it stabs its bones into your body, and it will be on your turn, Island.
He's going to pull his second dagger and attack with one.
Like start to grasp a little bit of the bone as you're stabbing with the dagger, and it just barely slides off, just missing the creature. And the second hand is going to miss entirely as the creature dodges to the side.
All right. That's my. I'm gonna stay right there.
And we'll go to Jarek.
All right. Jarek's he's gonna charge up, kind of like waving Karen and Brander kind of back so he can get through. Slash out at this skeleton here with his scimitar.
Solid hits. That skeleton starts to deform, and it just barely is holding on to its corporeal form here.
And with bonus action, I'm gonna go ahead and second wind.
Another arrow is going to come down on Island from behind. I believe that will miss with a 13 and on Terran.
Phew.
I'm gonna try to take down the skeleton we surrounded.
I think that was the first miss of all these skeleton attacks. They're
Yeah,
rolling really high.
I think it was. That's what we get for all our wisdom checks.
Yeah, with that solid hits, you are going to bring that one down with the dagger shot. Sadly, that short sword doesn't like skeletons.
Yeah, no, it has an aversion to bone or something. I don't know.
So you are welcome to move if you'd like, but otherwise it's going to go to Brandir. You got one skeleton downrange right now.
Did we lose him?
Are you there right now, Marcus?
I'm here.
Gotcha. So there's down to one skeleton at the top of this switchback. It's on you to move and go approach.
That's about as far as I can get.
So if you don't want to throw a hammer, you might as well take the dodge action as you're running forward.
I'll do that.
Or no, you can get there. Don't you guys have a cunning action right now where you can bonus dash?
Or just dash.
I have no idea what that is.
Is Brander a rogue as well?
Yeah. Level 3, don't they have cunning action?
Yeah, you
I
should
think
have
actually
done
getting
an
like
action.
level 2, yeah.
Yeah, so you can take cunning action, which is your bonus action, and you can dash, disengage, or hide, which means as your bonus action, you can take another movement, which will close you in on the skeleton, and then you can use your main attack to attack it.
Okay.
Were you one in front of Taryn before?
Yeah, just one in front.
Yeah, just in case they actually have issues getting to it, I would say move as far as you can and actually like make room for them. But yeah, as you charge up into it, it's going to just be able to move out of the way of your hammer as it's, I think, who's pulling an arrow, and it's going to go to Island.
Island is going to dash into range with this guy. And that'll be his action. And that'll be his movement and his action.
And then to Jarek.
All right, Jarek's gonna, yeah, he can't reach it quite yet. So he's gonna charging up at it and taking the dodge action as he approaches.
Taking a shot out at Taryn while it is being charged down. The skeleton's going to miss, and it will go to Taryn.
And do we get attacks of opportunity because he's firing an arrow?
No, that's why it's a disadvantage, because it's firing an arrow.
Gotcha.
So Terran's moving up and then gonna try once again, see if this sword actually can hit something.
Bum, bum, bum.
Finally.
So 15 damage. It has 12 plus 4, 16. I think they have 16. It is going to be severely damaged. You're going to see as much of this creature is already disintegrating. And as it starts to coalesce back into its form, you're just going to be able to slide the dagger right into the spine, and you see as the skull and the bone start to form back around in your dagger, and the body is just going to crumble to the ground, breaking the magic that binds it. As the rest of the party approaches from behind you all, Eku is going to look over one of the corpses, and as she lifts up a little pendant, you're going to see signs of a couple of tears as she grasps it, holds it to her heart, and you're going to hear, "These are the bones of the people who make this their home. They have been taken as I was most afraid."
I'm sorry, Eku.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible news.
Are we still in initiative order?
For most purposes, no. What are you thinking?
So Jarek's just gonna essentially come near this body and just try and like kneel down and quickly seeing if either the bow it was using or any of its arrows are salvageable.
Roll an investigation. Looking over it, it's not in like good quality, but you can definitely take its short bow from it. And roll d6. No, roll 2d4. And you can get 3 arrows from it.
All right, I'll take those and kind of like kind of standing around and maybe asking Eku's like, how many made their home here?
There is an entire village above. It was many hundred people who were here.
That maybe some of them survived. Might be that we can find something up in the village to tell us if anyone got away.
Yes, perhaps all's not lost. We should hurry up. Stay close.
Jack, do you want to take a short rest, you and me? Or I'm going to cast some healing on myself. How you feeling?
I can manage. I don't think we have. I don't think this is the best place to rest.
I think it's just you and I that got damaged, right? I think everybody else is okay. So I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself. Everybody else okay?
Yeah, I'm fine for now. Keep it for emergency later.
Yeah, I think so too.
Echo, do you want to do anything with these remains of your people?
Eku is not the star of this show. She can stay behind and do something with the remains of her people.
I think
I
we need
want you
to
guys
try
to
and.
have fun. It shouldn't be me narrating what Eku does.
I think we need to try and, get up, see what's happened to the village, continue on. I don't think we have time to stop here.
I
All
cannot
right.
express enough, me as a DM, how much I hate the fact that there is a DMPC as part of this mission or this campaign. I hate DMPCs.
And Jarek, at this point, he's going to keep both of his weapons out if he can as he continues on.
Me too.
You guys 100% should not have your weapons stowed.
Yeah, I just wanted to make it clear.
So as you round that switchback, this is going to be one of the ones where it takes you a little bit of time to clear some of the way. There's effectively that fallen tree there. It really just ends up boiling down to a little bit of time. If you all would like, if 2 of you clear it, the other 2 can take a short rest.
Okay, I'm going to take a short rest.
If all of you clear it, it's just much quicker, but that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, can you guys do that? And I'm going to take a quick short rest, get myself together for the next piece.
Jarek will work on clearing the brush.
Yeah, and Taryn will help him.
I'll go ahead, take the short rest.
So if y'all have hit dice that you want to use, you can burn some hit dice while Taryn and Jarek clear the way to the next site.
I just burned one Mara, but it didn't roll to the sheet. You see it? And I'll look at it and beyond 20. I rolled a 7 + 1.
That's fine. Just make sure that it actually has it burnt from your hit dice on your character sheet.
Yeah, no, it cut it. It just didn't, just rolled it on the sheet, like it does.
And then after you all are done with your short rest, you have another clear way up this hill ahead of you. Another few hundred feet. I feel like that's what it is. Maybe these are meant to be like 50-foot squares. I think that would make it the right size. It's supposed to be 3 miles of switchback. And this is a fucking awesome map, but this is no way near 3 miles.
Yeah, I think it measured out at 10-foot squares when I was measuring how far away things were.
I don't even think 10-foot squares would have worked out.
Yeah, you need 300 of them, right? Oh, you need 1,500. You need 5,000 feet per mile. So you need 15,000 feet,
Right? Like
1,500 squares.
15,600. Yeah.
1,500 squares, roughly. It's a lot of maps. We could do this map like 10 times, maybe.
Well, see, it hits all of the actual things that you're supposed to see along the way. So, as you move forward here, Jarek, let me get a perception check from you.
Nice.
You are going to see bones in the ground before you, and we're going to start this initiative on Jarek as a creature is going to rise from the ground.
All right, so Jack's gonna shout a warning, and he's going to slash and stab at this thing as it's rising out of the ground.
First one's going to be a miss. The second one is going to hit, and creature's still looking relatively fine.
And just gonna move whatever 5 feet, let's call it, or 10 feet to that side.
Good, and I'm putting it back where it should be.
And that's it for my turn.
That skeleton is going to slash out at Jarek. I think an 18 is going to hit. And as it dives into your flesh with its bones, it's going to rake you for 7 slashing damage. And just to confirm, yeah, it's going to go to Terran next.
All right, then Terran will move. He'll like run underneath Aelin's legs, slash and stab at the skeleton.
The sword's going to miss. You're going to dig into it with the dagger, and its magic is going to dissipate as the bones fall to the ground.
I'm just gonna put myself like over the where the skeleton died. And that should be the end of my turn.
Gotcha. So, Branda, you're in that kind of weird moment where there doesn't appear to be anything here. But the last time you awoken the skeletons, they all rose in a unison. What would you like to do? We have you, Marcus? Did we lose you again?
No, I'm here. No, I was hitting the wrong button. Well, since I don't see anything, I'm just going to stand ready and um, just keep an eye out, I guess.
So do you want to hold an action to like throw a hammer if you see something? What are you thinking? Are you just going to take the dodge action and try to defend yourself? Or do you
Probably the
actually want
dodge.
to do a perception?
Well, I want to look around, keep trying to figure out what's going on here.
So roll a perception check. You can see that there is another skeleton about 50 or so feet ahead of you that is rising out of the earth. That'll be your action, but you can close the ground to it if you would like to move and then take the dash action.
I'll go ahead and do that.
So that right there is just movement. If you'd like to take that dash action with your bonus action, you should be able to close the rest of the distance on the creature.
Yeah, instead of closing the distance, I'll leave some space.
What are you thinking about leaving the space for? Let me ask you that.
Well, to be able to use that other action, doesn't I have to be?
I feel like you cut off there. What are you thinking?
Well, I was trying to understand the other action that allows me to move away when they close on me.
Disengage.
Yeah.
Oh, you're skirmisher. If you
Yes.
want to hold off for skirmisher, that is fine. That is a question of whether you look at yourself as the thing in danger or whether you look at them as the thing in danger. But I got you.
Okay.
There's two different
Yeah.
reasons to close ground, and I feel like if you've got your hammers out, you're closing ground because you're going to kill something.
And if you get into that next 5-foot square, it attacks with its bow at disadvantage, right?
Indeed.
But it attacks now with its bow without disadvantage from 10 feet away from you.
Okay. I guess that means closing the gap makes more sense.
That was my theory when I was closing the gap because, its fingers were slightly less scary than its arrows.
I think it does the same damage with either. Yeah, that's the same modifier and the same damage, whether it's attacking at close range or long range. I just like the idea that they prefer to attack long range. So flying over Brandier's head and into Jarek, there's going to be an arrow, like predicted that was going to hit, for 7 piercing damage that is coming off from like the east bluff that is well above where you guys are. It's a cliff face, like I feel like it's revealed enough that you guys can see. Yeah, to the east of where Brandier is, it's at the top of that cliff face, probably about 50 feet above you all there. And that arrow just kind of flies down from that area. And then,
That's 7 damage, right?
yes. And then almost directly north of where Brandir is, an arrow is going to fly down at him and just go right off of the cliff face. And then another arrow is going to fly down at Jarek from just a little bit northeast of you, just kind of like almost directly downward at the three of you, but into Jarek. And that one will hit, and that one will do 6 piercing. And it's going to go to Island. I feel like you can probably see that.
I'm just going to cast a healing on Jarek. And he's going to move. And that's it.
Gotcha. So this is the one directly in front of Brandir. It is going to swing out at him, and it's going to rake into him for 5 slashing damage. And then it's on Jarek.
Right. So Jarek, still looking pretty bloody at this point. Seemed like almost on the verge of collapse as Island, run back a little bit, is going to charge forward. Going to flash out at the skeleton.
Solid hit.
And I'm going to make that a... No, actually, never mind. No, and then just stab at it with the short sword.
And that one's going to miss.
All right. That's it for me. Jarek's like, he's really been breathing heavily. He's still pretty bloodied.
And then it's going to be on Terran with Brandir on deck.
Well, Terran is gonna do cunning action dash. He's gonna dash up to the skeleton, and that's everyone's up to.
Let's go short sword.
Yeah, and that's like as he's dashing past, he's gonna swing his short sword. I mean, it's 3 feet to like pelvic height, basically.
It's just going to miss.
Running too fast, just missing him.
How is that possible, though? That is insane.
Think of it like I'm sliding up next to him and I'm swinging the sword too late.
For the ankle biter, and it just steps right over it. It's going to go to Brandir after you.
Okay, I'll hit it with my hammers.
Just make sure to only do the... never mind, go for the second one, too.
Oh, that's
Big ol'
crappy.
1-2 missing. Jarek, when you are in position 2, it's not working out well, but that might be the one. I think you said 15 AC, though, so I think that still hits with an arrow. For 5 more piercing. This one's a Brandier. That one will hit. It's going to do 5 piercing. And then this one's at Island. It's the upper ranks of this.
Sorry, yep, 15 hits.
Yeah, so I think it hit all 3 of you.
Yeah,
So
20
I think
hits.
it was, Jarek
I am still up.
and Jarek and Brandier, I think both took the 5 piercing, and then Aelin will take 6 piercing as the
Oh,
skeleton.
how much damage is that? 4?
I might be wrong when I said it. No, I think it was 5. I think it was that D6 3. Yeah. 5 damage to Jarek and 5 damage to Brandier, and then 4 damage to Island. And then it's going to be on Island.
Island's
Okay.
gonna cast a healing on Jarek.
Sorry, my headphone. I don't know what's going on with my headphones, but how much damage was that? 4 on that arrow?
To you, 5.
5. Got it. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm still up.
So 5 feet of movement. I'm gonna cast a Cure Wounds on Jarek.
Can you hear right now, Justin?
Yeah, I dropped out of Discord, rejoined. That did the trick.
Okay, word. So you got that healing there. Any other movement from Island?
Yeah, totally. Island's gonna move, I guess, right there. And that's what I got.
As you flank behind, the skeleton is going to rake out at you with its claw. And I think an 18 will hit, and it's going to do 5 damage to Island. And then it will be on Jarek.
Right, so Jared's gonna slash out at this one and finish it off if he can.
Tanked a lot of you, but I don't think it can tank that. Give me 1 second to make sure that it. Nope, it is going to start to dissipate as the magic pulls it back together. That skeleton is barely holding on.
All right. In that case, yeah, I'll stab at it with my short sword.
And with that, in a very similar fashion as Terran's kill before, you can place the short sword in through its bones as it's starting to reform and tear this creature apart, and the magic will dissipate around it.
All right, I'm gonna keep charging up. These, for the sake of combat, are these considered 5-foot squares? Right.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can always measure stuff, but yeah, I, as much as possible, try to make squares 5 foot. One difference to make sure on is sometimes what you see as squares on a map are not what measures. I almost always hide the actual map squares from Roll20 because I don't like how they look. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If your characters could sit 4 in a square, they're probably 10-foot squares, but like you can measure in 5-foot squares. I almost always will have 5-foot squares for you unless I tell you generally.
Okay, yeah. So Jarek's gonna charge up, and at this point he's gonna go ahead and action surge to attack this thing in front of him once.
Solid hit. And it's going to cut into it, but obviously still holding on right now.
And can I make that a distracting strike?
What's that one? It has to make a wisdom to not attack you?
So no, distracting is the next attack on it by someone else has advantage before the start of
Gotcha.
my next turn.
Does distracting strike add damage to it with that attack?
Yes. There'll be
So
another 5, 1d8.
you'll see as you slash across it with the scimitar, you like cut through and break through many of its ribs. This thing's spine is pretty well opened up at this point. And it's going to go to Terran.
Well, seeing Yarrick charging up, he's gonna follow.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
And see if I can hit something this time.
Short sword will have advantage on this attack.
There you go.
And it's the dagger that wants it. So yeah, the short sword is going to be enough to drive into and kill that creature. It is going to fall dead. Any more movement from you there?
Nope, that's my 25, and
If
Oh,
you
and-
wanted, you would
yeah.
technically still have that bonus from the dagger. That's part of why I generally don't want you guys just to roll both attacks, especially with weaker creatures like this. So you technically have a bonus action if you would like right now with Terran. Otherwise, it's going to go to Brandy.
yeah, I'm gonna stay.
Okay. Well, how high is the cliff facing that with the
The one to the east.
yeah?
East, that one's about 50 feet up overhead.
Okay, 50 feet up. Okay, so I guess my only action is to head on up the hill.
Yeah, so this is another one of those you can cunning action dash and close in on that skeleton up there and make a attack with your main hammer.
Okay. Run by Terran.
Otherwise, I mean, it's one of those things too. If I feel like it's always best to attack, but one of the things like with that one that you like stopped at it, you give it disadvantage on its like bow attack, but also you have the ability to like dodge when you're moving forward as well. So don't forget sometimes there, but I think the attack is a better idea.
Okay.
Except for after you miss. A big old swing and a miss as it is pulling another arrow to rain down on your friends. So the first one from the east is going to shoot at Brandier. Big ol' miss. And the second one is also going to take a shot as Brandier as it's charging forward. You don't get critted on, but you are still going to get hits for 6 piercing damage. And it's going to go to Highland.
Hey, is it my turn?
It is indeed.
Sorry. All right. I cast guided bolt on that guy that's up above us. Wow, that's discouraging.
Just steps back behind the stone, and the guided bolt flies over its head.
Okay, and I'm going to move up. That's my turn.
It should be going to Jarek, Terran on deck.
All right, Jarek's gonna charge forward, move around to flank this thing. He's going to stab out of the scimitar, slash at. And then, assuming it's still up, gonna stab at it with his short sword.
Oh, and I didn't even roll its hit points yet. Yeah, it's going to still be up.
Yeah, I figured 6 wouldn't drop it. So
6 is the minimum number of hit points, so if I roll double ones, it can.
okay.
I feel like one of them, I think you rolled for 6 damage, and I rolled a 7, and that was part of what I like chuckled about to myself. It was like, it was fucking close. So yeah, that second one will hit. It's gonna leave this one severely wounded.
All right, that's it for me.
Taryn, Brandy, you're on deck.
Well, seeing Yarrick going up seems they can have that one handled, so gonna drop my dagger and short sword, pull out my bow, and try to shoot the one at the ledge.
Uh, yeah, there's no way to gain sneak attack on that. It's a solid hit. It is going to stab through some of the bones. It still seems to be holding on to its unlight.
Then just because I can, I'm basically gonna do cunning action hide and try to move up towards the others.
Yeah, so that's like you're kind of moving into one of them. You'll take your cunning action to hide, and then you want to move somewhere else.
Yeah, basically.
But you can roll that stealth roll to see how well you may or may not hide.
I feel stealthy. But yeah,
Skeletons are known for their perceptive abilities. Brandir, what would you like to do?
Well, let's see if we can get rid of this thing in front of me.
Solid strike. And it will collapse to the ground.
I think can I take my movement and move on up?
Most certainly.
Okay, I'll go ahead and move on up and see what else we got.
You still have your dash if you want to cunning action and take a dash as well.
Okay, well, I'll take it if I can see what it is I'm running into. Okay. All right. That's as far as I go.
As you place an arrow into it, it's going to aim down into Terran. Oh shit, god damn it. I rolled so fucking low it doesn't see you. So let's see. It's really a d6. So it's going to shoot at Brandir, rounding the edge. It should still hit with a 15 is a 19 to hit, and then it's going to do 7 piercing damage to Brandir. And then it's going to go to Island.
I was gonna dash up. How's Brandier look?
He's hurt, but not bad.
Under 50%.
Yeah.
So it looks bloodied.
All right, well, I'm going to get to there with a dash movement, but I'm going to run right past you. Can I see any more of what's going on with the bridge?
Other than the cliff above you all eventually has to cross over that bridge. Nope. It's going to be on Jack.
All right, so Jarek's gonna move. And he's going to dash to there. And that's it for his turn.
And Taryn.
I'm gonna take another pot shot at the skeleton.
This will be an advantage. Solid hit, and that is going to drop it. So don't forget you have to move back to retrieve your short sword and dagger. I think that'll pretty well take up your action economy for the rest of this turn.
Yep. So I move back and can I pick him up this turn or is it like next turn?
Technically, you really wouldn't be able to. That's why I'd say just like at this point, just like stop your turn there because you technically need a turn to pick up the second one. Brandir, what would you like to do?
So I don't see any active enemies. I'm going to put my back up against this wall up here and wait for a turn to get up here.
Roll a perception check. As you back up to the wall, you feel dirt fall down, roll over your shoulder. You're pretty sure something's rising from the ground directly above you.
Okay, I'm going to let my comrades know. Heads up, above me. I don't see any action that I could reasonably take beyond this.
Eileen, what would you like?
I was trying to figure out if he goes north under the walkway, is that like a dead end? Does he need to continue over to where that other skeleton was? What does he see?
You can roll a perception check. Yeah, so north of you, it just seems to be like an opening, and it would appear that the path is above you, where that rope ladder, rope bridge is. But other than that, besides realistically that body there rose as one of the skeletons, I don't think there's a whole lot for you to see in that area.
All right, so I'm going to go 30 feet ahead. And was that perception check my action?
What else are you looking to do?
Keep moving forward.
Yeah, as far as dashing goes, it would be your action.
Okay, so I'm going to get there and stop.
And Jarek, what would you like to do?
All right, yeah, so Jarek's going to follow on. He's gonna how high is this cliff face that Barney's or not Barney, sorry, Brandier is standing below? Is there any way he can try to get a look at above it, like what's on top of it?
It's probably like 30, 40 feet above him. You can do a perception check. Oh, from where you're at, you can see another skeleton is rising directly over his head.
Okay, so I'll shout that out to the others, and then um assuming that's my action, that's my turn. Otherwise, I would take the dodge action if that was a free perception check. But
No, at this point, it's more effort than that.
yeah, makes sense.
And that's going to take it to Taryn. Reaction picking up your other weapon, but you are otherwise effectively equipped back of the two weapons.
Yeah, so I'm gonna cunning action and dash up. Well, basically the stairs here. Let's see. So like that. That's all my movement. And I'm gonna stay there.
Gotcha, Brandier.
I looked at Taryn, got a grappling hook. Did my voice crap out?
No, we heard you. And
What
I
are you
thought
looking to do here?
that's a
You're just
creative idea.
waiting to see if you can get a grappling hook from him.
That's what I'm checking.
Yeah, like I think like since we're in combat, essentially he can't answer until it becomes his turn.
I mean, if there's a reason for you to know that he has a grappling hook, that is fine, but he also can't give it to you until it's his turn as well. So
Understood.
if you're looking to climb that, you're talking about a few turns versus just running around the actual board normal.
I understand that.
So you're just holding there right now?
Yeah, holding there until I get an answer.
Gotcha. And then we'll go to Island.
I'm just going to dash ahead. I think that's 30 feet to there. I'll hold in my dash so we see what's in front of us.
Sorry. Did I miss something on Rander's turn? Because my headphones crapped out.
Yeah, I
He's,
just did.
he's hoping you have a grappling hook.
Okay.
So you see as the hill climbs ahead of you before the rope bridge crosses over that chasm, and then you see at least two of these creatures rising from the earth to the west.
And I'm going to shout, there's two. And that's my turn.
Going to send an arrow flying at Yarek. Will hit, and it's going to do 5 piercing damage. That's from the one directly over Brandier, and it will go to Jarek.
feel like I'm an arrow magnet today. I don't think any of those arrows have missed me yet. So Jarek's gonna shout back, sort of seeing like Taryn and Brandew's like, "Come on!" And he's going to, following Island, gonna dash as far as he can. There.
Firing out at Island. It's going to hit. Dealing 6 piercing damage from across the way and just to the west of Terran and Brandir as they hold that position. And that's going to go to Terran.
And then I'm gonna answer. I don't have a grappling hook.
Figures.
So yeah, Terran's gonna cunning action dash and dash as far as he can. Let's see.
Is a cunning action dash like a move plus a bonus action move?
Cunning action is their bonus action. It's the rogue.
Do you get 3 movements though? Is it 3x your normal move?
Rogues can, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
If they cunning and then take their action to do it, the only person who can move as fast than as a rogue is a monk, and they're a little bit faster because they also get increased movement. But they have very similar skills where they have a bonus action dash.
Yeah, essentially you're dashing twice and then plus your regular movement.
Okay,
Yeah.
I did not know you could do that, so I'm gonna dash again as my action.
I was kind of thinking maybe you were behind a little bit because you can run really, really fast, but I wanted to check.
Yeah, rogues are fast as fuck.
You get 3x while we're taking 2x. And plus, I mean, the cleric being in front probably isn't the best idea.
Yeah, probably not.
He's determined, though. He doesn't fuck around, this guy.
Good thing.
My
Yeah,
move.
Okay, so I'm done here.
And then the first dash would be to there. And then the second dash would be to there. Concur?
Looks about right to me. Is your base 25 or 30?
Could be 25.
25.
Sailing a shot into Terran. It's just going to go like right behind you as you cross the switchback. And then it's going to go to Island.
All right, Island's going to Sacred Flame, the one that's closest to him. And he's going to... Any luck?
Yep, it's going to burn.
A little tiny bit. I'm going to cast a Healing Word on myself as a bonus action. I'm a mess. I'm going to move up 30 feet.
The light shines down on that skeleton. It's going to pull an arrow and fire off towards Terran. Should hit with a 16. And it's going to do 6 piercing damage to you. and then it's on Jarek.
Jarek's going to move up. If I drop both my weapons, can I draw and fire the short bow? Or not the short bow.
100%. I have been wondering why you have not.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to do that. Fire the... Oh, wait, if crossbow's loading, does that... I'll use the short bow.
Yeah, I feel like as far as things go with your crossbow, it's the same as with a bow. You just can't shoot it twice until you have the crossbow expert.
Right, okay.
I don't see any reason why. I mean, I feel like this is like the one in the chamber thought. Like a lot of people might not feel comfortable stowing a loaded crossbow on their person, but all you have to do is not pull the trigger and it's not dangerous.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so in that case he would go with his trusty crossbow.
Trusty as it is, it's gonna go wide, and the skeleton's just gonna move to the side and kind of jink a little bit.
And at that point, he is going to drop prone.
Always said prone life.
Trying to crouch and make himself a smaller target.
So from a distance, the westernmost skeleton's going to fire at you, and as you drop to the ground, it is going to miss, and it will be on Terran.
Yeah, Terran's gonna move up, so let's see.
That's just a note. I dropped my weapons there.
Yeah, that's gonna be my cunning action and action dash to get up to the skeletons. So I'm close to the platform. And that's the end of my turn.
On to Brandir.
Sorry about that. I had to take a break.
Yeah, anytime you guys need to take breaks, you can also let us know, because I am terrible about taking breaks. It helps everybody. So if everybody wants to take a break, we can take a break here. Or we can just wait and do it at the top of initiative order.
I mean, if we want to take a break, I'm fine with that. I need to take a bathroom break anyways.
Yeah, I'd say let's do it then, and let's come back in a second here.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good. I'm back.
I'm back as well.
I didn't leave yet. Give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no rush.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back.
There's just you here, Marcus, or that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. someone else, I think. I didn't see who.
Yep, I'm Justin's back.
I think all but Larry.
Yeah, I haven't heard him yet. Oh, Mara, the bolt I fire, is that potentially losable, or given we're on the same like elevation at this point, is it recoverable, assuming I take the time to find it?
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be. You just shot at the close one.
The one right next to Taryn, yeah.
I feel like do something like just like a D8. If you roll a 1, it like plinks off of. Yeah, you're good. That's up there and recoverable.
Okay, yeah, I see. It could hit off him and fall down to the.
Yeah, like missing and off the stone that it goes over the cliff. I think that's where the only possibility of losing it really is. But there's almost like a catcher's mitt kind of behind that area. So there's not like a whole lot of room to lose shit. Just shooting at those specific skeletons right now.
Okay, yeah, I was proud of myself for taking off the one bolt from the last fight since we had to run away from the ghasts. So I dropped that
Right.
one.
Again, I don't really like necessarily keeping track of all of it. I think there are more interesting aspects of it when, for instance, you guys are fighting on a cliff face. That stuff is losable here. But I feel like that's kind of it. Is like in these situations, this is where it's much more. And for what it's worth, a lot of times, if you got, I don't know how to say it. Like, if you guys keep track of it that you're actually losing bolts in fights like this, I will never worry about it. But I feel like a lot of that stuff, it's like going to a tavern. If you spend gold at a tavern, great, spend the gold. I'm never going to check to see that you do it. Because I don't care that much. But on some level, I feel like that's kind of like part of this campaign is definitely the survival aspect of, do we have enough equipment to go off on this? I mean, that's quite literally what a campaign is. Like the actual adventure of kind of pushing off into the wilds.
Now, provides for some interesting things to deal with, like say, Brandir now is going to be trying to recover a dagger so that he has a second one. And so, that becomes something that I have to look for now that I've lost one over the cliffside.
Yeah, and I think that's the same type of thing as like when Justin asked me, can I recover this thing's short bow and arrows? Like, if you search a skeleton and you're searching for daggers, just let me know. And that's the type of thing where, effectively, for what it's worth, Justin, I should also note, like that bow, just make sure that it does not have a value. Anything you all recover in the wilds, when I say it's damaged, that really just means it doesn't have a value, as far as things go. Whereas, like, technically speaking, if you guys keep up your actual like crossbow, somebody might pay less than what it like goes for new, but there's still a value to it. But like if you kill a goblin, the dagger that a goblin uses, perfectly functional as a dagger. It just doesn't sell like it's a dagger from a merchant in a town.
Okay, yeah, I figured when you said it, like it wasn't in great shape, and I almost asked like if it maybe had like it was less effective even than a normal short bow, but then I figured I wouldn't know that until I tried to use it.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I would say it's really just a thing of the actual value of it. It's very crudely made, but that doesn't mean it's not effective.
Got it. Got it.
I'm gonna have to pick up one of these short bows pretty soon myself.
That was part of what I was laughing at earlier. I felt like when Justin did it, everybody was going to grab one, um, and then nobody did, and then Justin didn't even pull out his bow. But you guys have a buffet right now of short bow users, so a lot of ranged weapons that this group lacks.
I almost like offered it to Island and then I forgot to.
But with you being back, we are back on Brandier's turn, and we can pick back up here.
Okay. Okay, that's my regular move. That's the first dash action. I think that's about right.
So you're just triple dashing, move, move, move.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
So from the cliff up above you, a skeleton is going to drop an arrow down into you as you are crossing the bridge for 5 piercing damage. And then, whoops, just west of the, like the middle skeleton that you guys can see, that one's going to shoot for Jarek. An 18 will hit. And wrong die. It's going to do 6 piercing damage. Oh shit! God damn it! Jarek's prone. A 11 will miss, and it's going to go to Island. Jarek figured out how to defeat skeletons. Prone, stand up, shoot. Prone, stand up, shoot.
I mean, calculated risk if they come after us, but at least these ones seem to be favoring the bow, so.
That's going to Sacred Flame, the one that's in front of him.
One with Terran right there. Bam! It is going to burn.
I'm going to move up. And I want to kind of get a sense of who's bloodied in my party.
Who's under 50% right now?
I
That would be
am,
me.
and I'm technically bloodied.
Anybody under 25%?
Yes.
So right now, Brandier looks severely bloodied, and it sounds like Jarek is bloodied.
Not bloodied, just if any of you care. Okay. That's my turn.
Okay, yeah, that was the dodge. That's what that was. So the skeleton that Terran is on is going to shoot at Brandier. It should hit with a 19, and it's going to do 8 piercing damage to him. And it will be on Jarek.
All right. Jarek's gonna pop up from his
I just fell. What?
That'll be
Where?
unconscious.
Yes.
So Jarek's gonna pop up. He's going to, as he's loading his bolt, and take a shot at the skeleton next to Terran here.
I don't think there's any way it could survive that.
All right, and then I'm gonna drop back prone.
Take a shot into Terran. 20 should hit. It's going to do 5 piercing damage, and that is from the westmost skeleton you can see right now. And it will go to you, Terran.
Let's see, that leaves me blooded, but I'm gonna move up, the closest skeleton, and see what happens when I swing at it.
That sweet, sweet short sword. I don't think it could live through that crit from your dagger, though. But the short sword will continue its inability to hurt skeletons. So 9, 13 damage. Yeah, and you're doing 7, 15, 26. 26 damage is one of those reminders that rogues fucking wail. Yeah, you're just going to decimate that thing. Any other movement from you right now?
No, let's see, 5, 10. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say put.
So death save from Brandir.
Okay. What is that versus?
If you want to just roll a d20, that is perfectly fine. It's a 10 plus to succeed. If you actually set your hit points at 0, the top right of your character sheet should go to death saves, where you can just click on it. And I think there should be a red die in the center that will roll the death save.
Okay.
So
Crap.
you will cough up blood, failing your first death save. Terran, there's going to be a arrow from above that flies down at you. It should hit with an 18, and it's going to do 7 piercing damage to you. And then it
And
will be
I
on
am
Isla.
down.
I'm gonna use my healing kit on Brandir. Weird, I can't find it. Okay, here it is.
And that's plus 3 more, so you'll be at 11 hit points, Brander.
Okay. Push myself back to 11 then.
I'm gonna charge ahead on my movement, and that's all I got.
On you,
Well,
Jack.
actually, hold on a second. Can I? Yeah, no, this is what I have. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right, so Jarek's he's going to pop up. He's going to move a bit closer this time, so he can get in a little bit better range against this last skeleton you can see here, and take another shot with his crossbow. And he's going to make that a
Solid.
distracting strike. Another 4.
I think you're going to kill it. You need to roll a 5. I rolled for 9 hit
Nope.
points. Oh, I don't see the damage right now from the crossbow strike, though.
Oh, whoops, sorry. I
Yep.
thought I hit it.
I got 9 total hit points from it, so that is going to drop that one.
Okay, so in that case, I don't have to expend the superiority die, right?
I feel like you have to do it before I tell you. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it says when you hit with a weapon attack. So I wouldn't have known how much damage it was going to deal. So I'll mark that off. It's kind of like the Paladin's Divine Smite, where you can choose to use it after you hit, but maybe like it's supposed to be after you hit, but before you know the damage. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that's kind of where it sits.
Yeah. And then let's see, it was 15 to stand up. 10 more. I'm going to move back towards my dropped gear here, and that's my turn.
Did you drop back down? Or you
I don't have enough movement anymore, so I'm no longer prone.
Oh, I don't think it takes movement to go prone.
Oh, that's right. It's only half. It's 15 to stand up, but you can just drop prone because like a free action. You're right. Yeah. So in that case, I would go back down.
Gotcha. So let's see. That skeleton is dead. I think we're gonna do a death save from Terran and then a death save from Brandy.
No, Brandy's back up.
Oh yeah, my bad.
You still got the dead symbol on you though,
Yeah, I don't know where that
or
came from.
unconscious. You click on your token, and then there's like a bottom right wheel.
Yeah, the like double circle. That's the one where you can like alter your states. It helps me a lot because I definitely forget about them on a regular basis. So what would you like to do, Brandier? Both of your hammers. Oh man, you're on that rope bridge. Roll 2d4. If you roll ones, that hammer's going through. So main hammer first, and then the off hammer second. So your off hammer has fallen through. It is down below. You're going to have to spend some time to retrieve that. It's just that lower level below you. But when you are coming back to consciousness, you have a hammer on the ground, a hammer well below you, or you could just draw your big ass hammer. But that's kind of where you are at if you wanted to try to get to that last skeleton that is up there. Or drawing a dagger to throw at it, kind of thing. Even throwing. I think you kind of have to close that one. That's another one of those high cliff faces.
Yeah, I'm going to have to retrieve that hammer. So I'll stand. There's my after standing.
My point, though, was to tell you strategically, it's probably better to retrieve the hammers while you guys are not on death's door. Try to kill that skeleton. Are you picking up your light hammer? You're basically waking up prone with one hammer on the ground, like well below the bridge, and one hammer on the ground, like at your face.
And while none of us have grappling hooks, we have other weapons you can use.
Okay, well, I can pick up my one hammer, but I've got one that's, it's fallen.
But my point of saying that you could also draw your big ass hammer is the question of what you actually want to do once you have a hammer in your hand.
Like if we can deal with the last of these skeletons, then we'll be able to kind of go safely back and retrieve the hammer.
There may be no end to these skeletons, really. Also,
Yeah, I think realistically, even with his double dash, he can actually make it to that skeleton. So
Yeah, I can't make it there, so. When I stand up, I can retrieve that hammer that was on the bridge with me.
yeah.
all right.
And then I'm gonna make my way down to get that other hammer.
Okay.
Dude, you're gonna run away from us?
He is indeed running away.
There's one guy dead. Okay. Or unconscious.
And that's going to go to the skeleton. Oh wait, that was a different wrong roll. And it is going to take a shot at Brandier as he runs. And it's going to go high, and it will be on island.
I'm gonna take 2 steps forward two pieces of movement forward and use my healing kit on Terran.
So you'll have 8 hit points.
Oh, sorry. But anyway,
Hey,
you're up.
it's more than I had.
2,
I'm not
3,
dead yet.
5. Okay, so I'm gonna run to the edge because I really want to see this other skeleton. We know there's something up there, but we haven't seen it yet.
Well, he will be in a moment. He's very ill.
Taryn, before it's actually your turn, before it's actually Jarek's turn, will you roll a D? Ooh, what hand do you think is your main hand? Are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Left-handed. So roll a D8 for your main hand and a D12 for your offhand. Fuck that short sword. I'm so sorry. Both of your weapons have fallen down that cliff when you went unconscious.
Damn.
All I was thinking is a 1. I'm like, we'll make it really reduced chances. But yeah, so as you went unconscious, you would have dropped both of your weapons down that cliff. So when you are coming to consciousness on your turn, you'll notice that you don't have weapons. And it's probably a good time to draw your bow. But Jarek, it's your turn.
All right, Jarek's gonna pop up. He's going to, if he can, try and get a. He saw an arrow coming down from above, so he's going to try and catch, if he can, see if he can spot where that came from. If there's another skeleton above, depending on how high the cliff face is.
I would say at this point you would recognize that your best chance for getting a shot on that is to basically stand at the ready, hold your action for when you see that skeleton, you'll release a bolt.
Yeah, then that sounds. I think that's what I'll do.
So you'll have to
yes.
stand to not give yourself disadvantage on that shot, though.
Yeah, he'll be standing at the ready, standing up. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then Taryn, it's on you. Half your movement to unprone yourself.
Yeah. As a setup, can I see my weapons down the side, or do I not know they're there?
For what it's worth, like as a free action, like without any action economy, you can see that your weapons are not up here with you. It would take some effort to actually look for them down below.
Okay, then I would not spend the effort to look
But
for them right
the
now.
fact that you're battling on a cliff face, I don't think any of you would be surprised that going unconscious was a dangerous thing on these tiny cliff faces. There's been multiple times that you guys have been on 5-foot ledges with like 50, 75-foot drops below you.
Yeah, so standing up, pulling out his short bow then. And let's see, half movement, so that's like what, 10 feet for me?
Yeah, you're kind of the same thing where you could actually bonus action and possibly get a shot on the skeleton from the west. Otherwise, you could hold your action for when it pops out to try to shoot it.
Now let's go cunning action dash and go for trying to take
Yeah, so I think that would give you 35 feet from where you're at with your movement and then cunning action.
like up there and trying to shoot the skeleton wherever it is.
You are going to be just below what you need to get a strike on it.
Yeah, I figured. And yeah, that's the end
But
of
you
my turn.
don't actually have to move that far. You would have had to go to there, so you can use your other 5 feet to kind of back up at least.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Or hell, I think technically you can back up into. No, wait, you can't stop an island. Right? Small creature, you still have to move out of their space. You can just move through it for free.
Yeah, free movement through, so I don't have like the difficult terrain. But
Randir,
can't
that's
see them.
the best hammer ever. Go get you some hammer.
And I think he can. I think Taryn can also try to hide behind Island, right? Since he's small and Island's medium.
Yeah, but he had a cunning action to run. That was
Oh, that's
part
right.
of
Yeah,
the
wait.
damage.
yeah.
Let's see. I'm just trying to think here.
Next turn, you should hide behind me for sure.
Okay, yeah, I have to use like an action or bonus action for that. Yeah. No, never mind then.
Whoops. I kept on hitting the wrong button. Did the regular move plus the 2 dashes. Get to the hammer with 1 square left.
Yeah, so you
am
can
I
grab it with you can
okay?
grab it with your free action, and you can move that extra bit of movement, but that will be the end of your turn.
Okay. Would I have any chance of spotting those short swords coming have fallen
You
or
you can roll a perception check at disadvantage.
probably
No,
not?
you wouldn't really notice them.
Okay. Yeah, I figured no chance to notice, but if I didn't, then I'll just go on up.
So the skeleton is going to round that edge, and it's going to be looking directly at you, Jarek. And you're basically both firing shots at each other here. I think it's going to miss you with a 14, and let's see that damage from you.
That was pretty good.
I'll take it. I feel like I can't really use I don't think I should be able to use a superiority die in a reaction shot. So
I don't think there's any reason why.
It's like
Very
a held
few of them
action.
actually take specific circumstances. But like your battle master type, your subclass is your superiority dice. It doesn't really have anything to do with what action economy you're playing with.
yeah. All right. In that case, I'll make it another distracting strike.
Roll that d8.
Oof.
Oh, so close. So next strike on it has advantage, but as it rounds the corner, you're going to put your bolt like directly through its eye socket, and this thing just stumbles back as its arrow goes high over your head. It doesn't have an eye, but it's through the eye socket.
Yep.
So Island, it will go to you. If you are closing that distance, as you round the corner, you're going to see this thing is like stumbling, and you can see the magic is like dissipating as this bolt sinks into this creature.
That one's going to swing one dagger.
And I don't know if there's a way that you can not kill it here, but you tried. It's going to fall to the ground as the magic dissipates.
Awesome. Now I'm going to back up. I'm going to yell, okay, we got it. And back up 1 movement. So we have to get our little friends' tools from down below.
Yeah, so as you all see that this appears to be all of the immediate threats here, you can kind of slow things down and decide it won't be long before Taryn mentions that he needs to get some of his shit. But what would you all like to do as you get at least a little bit of respite in this combat?
Taryn, I could maybe drop a rope down and help you get your stuff.
So Jarek's going to. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking then we could drop a rope down and get our other rogue. You guys can scamper up a rope, right?
Yeah, I could do that. Somebody probably holler at me and let me know what I'm looking for down there.
Yeah, so you'll see as Island and Taryn kind of come to that edge, looking over things. And are you going to lower Taryn down, or are you going to try to get Brandier's attention?
I'm going to tie a rope. Maybe Taryn can get Brandier's attention. I'm gonna try to tie the rope off on something.
Yeah, and as Alan's doing that, I'm gonna be standing by the edge going, right there, over here. You see my weapons anywhere?
So let me get a performance and then a perception.
And Jarek's he's picking up his weapons that he had dropped, and he's going to, if he has time while they're doing this, he's going to go and try to maybe similarly kind of look for any more arrows um, on the skeleton here.
Gotcha. You can roll another 2d4. So as you yell for him, you are able to hear Terran yelling off for you. And you can kind of look behind as it looks like Island is pulling out a rope, preparing to kind of tie things off. Looking around Island, you see that there's that tree on the south edge of this cliff. You can use it to tie off, but if they end up falling, they're falling and dangling over a much higher cliff. At this point, there's not really anything for you to tie off to that's like not going to put them in further danger if something happens.
All right. Jarek, can you lower him down? I'm likely to drop him. He's heavy.
I mean, can he just run down and get them, or can Brandir pick them up?
No, I can pick them up and just come back up.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're overthinking how.
Yeah, let's just.
I feel
Yeah,
like
if I-
Jarek knows. Jarek knows there was a dice roll included with anybody who goes cliff diving right now.
Oh yeah, no, I thought that too. I'm not strong enough to be lowering people down.
I feel
can't
like
be
by the
taking
time
that.
you like tie something off, it's gonna take more time than just having. Yeah, even if Aaron ran down and grabbed it himself and came back up.
Fight through
Short-
14 skeletons that die, lowering yourself over a cliff.
A short rest time is something that we need because I'm wrecked. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Yeah, I could use a short rest as well. I'll pick up the swords and bring them up to the rest of the party first.
Thank you, Brander.
That
So as you all camp up at the top, camp out at the top of this cliff face. You've got some pretty gorgeous views over the Aldani Basin.
Yeah, if we made all that distance from Camp Vengeance to here, and without a casualty and without a fight, I think we did all right.
And
I'm
as
not
you
sure we're
sit
done.
and relax, you guys can benefit from a short rest. I mean, I'm not saying you guys didn't have at least a little bit better than walking straight through them in that little clearing that I had, but I feel like those skeletons in the clearing were less dangerous than the skeletons blocking your path.
Okay, I think I just kept on hitting buttons without knowing what they were doing. So I think it's just the first aid I take benefit from.
I don't know what kind of like tornado warning you have going on, but it's loud.
It's actually the vacuum sweeper.
That's the vacuum. It sounds like when the train passes by my apartment.
Yeah,
Well,
I got tornado flashbacks.
European trains and American vacuum cleaners might be similar in decibel level. You all are better at that than we are.
Part of this long rest, if Island doesn't take it on himself, Jarek's gonna look for another short bow that maybe he can have.
Short rest.
Short rest, yeah. That's great. Thank you for that. How much does a short bow weigh? I'm gonna have to drop something.
Well, I think I'm unencumbered, so I could carry it for you.
2 pounds for the bow.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Thank you. That's awesome. And I'm gonna drop this mace that I'm never gonna be strong enough to use.
Oh well, I
Yeah.
don't know if I actually found one, but I can give you the one that I found before because I've got my crossbow.
Yeah, I think. Well, let's try to find one. There's a bunch of bodies here.
I mean, on some level, short resting, you have to do nothing. But while you guys are here, do you want to take the time to walk up and down the cliff and actually look at some of these bodies?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it would be after the short rest is over. I wasn't sure exactly how little activity it had to be.
Yeah, so you guys have searched a few of these bodies. I feel like part of the problem is that it's still walking up and down a cliff. Um, and I don't think that is resting. But you can definitely do some of the searches if all four of you are going to join in searching these bodies instead of making one person do it. Let me just get a investigation from everybody.
Right?
Just gonna ask, how many times have I rolled below double digits in this session on the dice without any pluses?
You've definitely had some pretty low dice rolls today. So let's see. Taryn, roll a d6 for me. Jarek, roll a d6. And then let me get Brandier and Island to roll 2d8.
2d8 each.
Yep. All right. So going through the bodies, you all can collect 4 more short bows, 5 daggers, and you can bring in 7 arrows that are functional.
Well, I each need one to replace what I lost.
And then you guys can have 4 gold pieces apiece that you would have found through all that.
All right. Well, Island, you can have the one of the short bow. You can take the 7 arrows.
All right. We don't really have a. I guess we have a party loot list. We're putting our gold in there.
No,
I'd
the
say we just
party
take
loot list
4
should not
each.
store things. The party loot list should just be for note it and then get it on somebody and delete it.
Okay, so I'll take 1 gold, and I'll take this arrows and 1 short bow.
I think he said 4 gold each.
Yep, 16 total gold for each.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I'll take 1 dagger too, just to have an extra to throw.
One
So
dagger.
Taryn and Brandier, I'd say take as many daggers as each of you want, and if there's any left over, I might grab one just for. But I don't need one, so feel free to take as many as you need.
How many was there total?
5.
You took 2, Taryn?
No, I've just taken 1 so far.
Okay. All right, I'll take 2, place the one, and then get a spare. And that'll leave 1.
All right. Yep. I'll just take one extra dagger. And then if whoever needs a short bow, otherwise, no real point in carrying them around. They're not saleable. So
Well, it's worth a second one in case you lose one.
I mean, I feel like I've got a short bow and a crossbow now, so I don't. I don't know. I can't. I don't know how I would carry around a third weapon. So
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that you had some sort of a backup.
yeah, I feel good with the now that I have a short bow as a backup, and I have daggers if all else fails. So as we were searching these skeletal bodies, do we can we get any sense of how like Eku had said that these were the um, people that had used to live in the village, like how desiccated can we get any sense of like how desiccated, how old the skeletons are? Like do they still have like kind of like flesh? Are they more just bone or not that I have a particular idea, I guess. I don't have any particular medical skills, but that I would kind of be interested in that while I'm looking through them.
You could roll an Arcana check to understand why, but in general, I don't think there's a whole lot to interpret. Skeletons are a kind of undead, and it is one of those things where it doesn't necessarily tell you a whole lot of what is going on. That it is risen. The actual magic might be completely different than what, say, creates a zombie, where it actually has flesh. Um, but effectively, what you're seeing is that these things really don't have flesh. What they do have that resembles clothing is very tattered. Doesn't necessarily give you a time frame so much as just that these things seem to be bare bone that has been bleached by the sun. But even then, it doesn't necessarily tell you whether it was a natural bleaching or whether it was something unnatural.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I think I was probably thinking more zombies than skeletons. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things, like, very magical wise about things is like a bit of meta knowledge is that in a lot of circumstances, what you cast a spell on determines a lot of whether it is a skeleton or a zombie. But I feel like that already assumes not just magical knowledge, but somebody who's delving into the necromantic arts already.
Yeah, there'd be no reason for Jarek to know anything about that. So
The but Island's interested in like can we are these sort of like jungle natives? Is there a do they seem civilized? Are there scraps of clothing that's produced, or is it scraps of hide? I'm just curious if I can get a sense of the encampment we're coming up on,
I mean,
like
you
the
can
culture
roll
of it.
that same arcana if you want to understand like the nature of the magic that let me describe the different options because now you're set into the arcana.
Yeah, that's okay.
Um, so in general, you can see that at some point these were bare bones and they had been risen through magic. And it is magic that is not beyond your ability to eventually use. Um, you are at least going to be vaguely aware that Saloon can grant this power to you in time, to raise effectively skeletal corpses and animate them again. These people, again, have trinkets of culture. They're not just like wild people who live out here. You've already seen coming up these slopes um, signs of their ingenuity in how they carve some of the steps, in their ability to actually fashion things like the rope bridge. Um, had it not been for a pitched battle, you all would have seen, and probably you would have seen much more as you searched up and down the cliff face, that a lot of the actual cliff face was decorated in art of some of the beasts that roam the jungles of Chult. They are very good at the way they use the natural shape of the rock to form different parts of the creatures. And they basically carve like in the negative space to create like a 3D effect. These are pretty artistic people who have a pretty high culture. An archaeologist, I think, would appreciate it a lot more than maybe some other people who recognize the different levels of culture without necessarily judging it from your culture. But they are definitely, when you have people who can use this amount of time to create art, they already have a lot higher level of sustainability to their life than necessarily people who are like hunter gatherers who are constantly in starvation, feast, and famine mode.
Great. Well, I'm going to point some of that out to the party, and maybe there'll be a wall and maybe there'll be a safe space up there when we get there. Find some of your people, Aku. We can hope, anyway.
Well, and since this little area was supposed to be a subset of all the switchbacks, you said 3 miles worth of them. We probably saw all that.
Yeah, on some level, again, having the encounter on the cliff face, I feel like that's almost one of those things too, like where you might not necessarily think about going back after your hammer when your actual life is on the line to kill shit that's attacking you, in the same way that you may not notice all of the intricate things that are decorating these walls when you're climbing it, not fighting for your life. Um, so there's definitely a lot more to see after the fact. But you all have that sense of a lot of these dead were put in place to protect this kind of entrance up to the higher levels of the plateau. Um, and eventually, here, you guys can continue forward, where you will eventually get to the peak of the plateau. And as you kind of make it up to this highest level, you're going to see a large guard tower immediately north of you. There's remnants of a palisade that goes on around this little village encampment. The guard tower itself is all built of high, like 15, 20 plus foot lumber, and it kind of cuts in front of you. And the immediate thing that you are going to see as you look at this is that instead of an open gate, there are remnants of like metal in the wood of the gate just being kind of damaged and destroyed, little more than the actual. I can't think of what it is that opens and closes the door. The hinge, little more than the steel hinges remains across this gate section. And underneath the arch of the gate, there are skulls and skulls and skulls. Hundreds and hundreds of skulls litter the entrance to Mbala.
Well, this isn't good.
And so Jarek, seeing this, will kind of like under his breath, almost instinctively, like utter a quick prayer to Lathander, seeing this, and
So as you guys are looking at this gate, the palisade has rotted away. You can climb over these skulls, or you can kind of edge around the cliff edge and eventually make your way into it, and avoid that entrance gate.
Okay, well, what's your call, guys? I just
to
as
this
soon move through them, given the risk of trying to work our way around this thing on the cliff edge.
Do the skulls look like they've been? Can we tell if they look like they've been piled up intentionally, or they're kind of like scattered around? Like, can we see any sort of rhyme or reason to how they're piled up?
Let me get. Yeah, there's really no difference here. Let me get a perception check here. I was about to say, let me get a perception with your insight, and it's the same stat.
I mean, I am proficient in insight. If I don't know if that makes any difference, but I can just do regular perception.
No, my bad. This is something I want just Jarek to do. I don't think there's any reason for all of you not to really pick up what he's about to learn, but Jarek, as you are looking for some sort of order to why these skulls are here, you have to understand there are only skulls here. There's not bodies. There is skulls. And it is only skulls. Something, someone did this. And there's no rhyme or reason other than an intention. This is a warning. This is the entrance to Mbala, and it is covered in skulls. And they are heaped 5 feet, 4 feet. There's a certain level of it's like scary to imagine how high they might be if you decided to wade through them right now.
Yeah. So Jarek would share kind of the sense he's getting with the others. Um, he's leery of kind of wading through the skulls. He'd like to edge around them, but maybe find another way in. But
So you guys can, if that's the plan that you go forward and you kind of tell them, you can start to like crawl off of these steps and off to the side of the cliff and basically move around the side of the palisade.
I think Marcus, you said your thought was to go straight through, so I don't want to force everybody into my idea. So I'm curious what Island and Taryn think.
Island thinks there's a lot of skulls and no bodies. He's sort of curious how they were beheaded, what kind of condition they're in. Was there any skin on these skulls? Are they all bleached? Gives a sense of the time.
You
For
can do an
medicine.
investigation. Looking over, um, these things have been picked clean. You can see scratches and damage. Over time, the flesh was torn off of these bodies, and the skulls suffered damage from it. The actual bone is damaged.
Like they were gnawed, like the skin was gnawed off.
Certainly not far fetched to see that as a possibility.
Well, it seems like there's something in there that's hungry.
Yeah. Oh boy. Certainly has an appetite. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit leery about wading through all these skulls. So I'm with Yarrick on going around.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Whatever. I'll follow you.
Okay, round it is.
Who wants to lead as you all start to go to the side?
I would say it would either be Brandy or Taryn makes the most sense.
Yeah, Terran Yeah, volunteer. I can go first.
So let me get a dexterity check from you.
Holy crap! I'm glad I have a +5.
So you can start to crawl over the edge of the stairs and move your way towards the palisade. And there's a little bit of room on the sides of these things. There's certainly not a lot of room to feel comfortable, but you slowly make your way around. And after a few moments, it widens up a little bit more. And you can feel as you're keeping close to this palisade that the wood is rotten, and you're pretty close to where you can see that it gives way. And after a few very slow, high tense minutes, you are able to make your way around the side to where there is effectively an open entrance into uh, the plateau topped clearing of the kingdom of Mbala. And as you see through, you see some massive stone structures, massive stone ruins, and as the sun is setting in a brilliant glow of orange, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's also frightening because you kind of get the feeling all of these people are dead. There's no movement before your eyes as you step through that palisade. But your friends are behind you. You feel safe on solid ground. What would you like to do?
Just to clarify, it's only Taryn gotten through at this point.
Yeah, that's just for him to go. Part of what I'm
Okay.
throwing out there is like, if you want to throw a rope back, you can help everybody else. Otherwise, everybody can do the same check.
Yeah, I'll throw my rope back just to give them some safety.
So just one after another with a little bit of rope assistance. Everybody,
Yeah, man.
whoever's going next, let me get a dexterity from you. So Island makes the effort. Jarek follows. Looking like Brandier's taking up the rear.
Yep.
Just don't tell the elf that you threw me. Solid. You all cross that little bit of a ledge and make your way into the clearing of Mbala. You see the ruins ahead.
Is this a convenient place to stop?
If we 100% need to, we certainly can. But depending on what you guys are kind of looking at here, you can potentially go on a little bit further.
Should we find a spot to camp, explore in the morning? I mean, the sun's setting. What do you guys think?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I'd be more comfortable if we took a look around a bit first before we decided to camp.
Let me
Yeah.
get a wisdom check from anybody who's thinking about camping.
I want to camp here.
You just saw a pile of like 5 foot tall skulls, and you think we should take a long rest? This is not a place where you guys need to be resting. You guys are at the end of something big, and you need to end it before you're going to get sleep.
Well,
So I'll take that to mean that we aren't going to spend the night on this plateau. Is that what everybody thinks? Just I'm thinking about
Well,
it getting dark.
Well,
I
not
wasn't
yet,
really
at least.
okay.
well, I'm just hesitant to press on in the dark.
but
If we're
we don't
gonna
know what's
stop,
here.
if we're not gonna,
Like we can't, if we
if we're
just like But
If we
there's these piles of skulls, we can't just like camp.
all right, then I mean,
Yeah, Jared.
we're
What?
up here and we're losing light. So what's the call?
Let's see. Do we see that structure like to the northeast? Like,
Stairs and the temple thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was one of the things that I was pointing out to you. You see the massive stone structures. Those immediate ones before you are stone ruins. This whole area in front of you. I'm pretty sure the measurement should be viable. So if you guys are measuring this out, you should be able to see how far everything is. You can see right now. You can see the lost civilization of Mbala ahead of you. And there's nobody.
yeah, I'll suggest, or Taryn suggest that we should start looking by those giant stairs at first. Just curious about that.
Yeah, Jarek's going to suggest kind of everyone stay close, have your weapons ready, and slowly start making our way in the direction that Taryn was saying.
What kind of marching order do you all have?
And I feel like now that we're here, maybe Jarek would take point.
Anybody going beside Jarek? Are you guys going in like a single file line, 2x2?
I feel Taryn would be beside Jarek.
Gotcha. And then you think it's Island and Brandy are pulling up the rear, basically, 2x2?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And
So,
I want to try to be stealthy.
well, tell everybody to be stealthy. If they're just walking around making noise and you want to be stealthy, they're going to leave you behind real quick.
I think it makes sense that we would be, yeah, Jarek would be trying to be.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm extremely tired. I'm not thinking clearly, and I'm having trouble figuring out what we need to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to call it, we can call it here. As far as the adventurers go, I just wanted to point out they're not going to get a chance to sleep up here. They've got to recognize the danger of what you've just gotten to.
Yeah, I'm all right with calling the session for tonight and picking this up next week.
Yeah, so we can pick up there. That's perfectly fine. That was part of why I was asking Marcus if you want to do stop then, we could. But, like, you guys just got to let me know. Because I had a slightly more forward spot where I was hoping to stop. But this is still good. So we will pick up here with the city of Mbala before you all. It is roughly at sunset. And we can figure out what happened to the people who Eku once cared for. Otherwise, I hope everybody had a good time this week. Forward to seeing you all next week, and we will pick up here on the plateau.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
guys. See ya.